Good day, everyone. It's Kevin Alft, owner of Action Coach of DFW. Today, we have with us Zahid Kinnare, who's the owner of Aztec Computer. Uh, Aztec has been around for many years, so I'm looking forward to having Zahid share the volume of lessons learned and best practices that he's gained over that period of time. For all of you, those who are listening, to build upon it, to basically stand upon Zahid's shoulders. So, Zahid, thank you. Build us a little bit of runway about yourself and your business.
Well, thank you for giving me an opportunity. It's good to be here. I've been running Aztec Computers for about a little over 20 years. It's an interesting story. I got married and talked to my wife and said, you know what, I want to start a business. And she said, go for it.
Nice.
And I literally started business with three people, me, myself, and I. I used to pick up the phones and be the sales guy and be the accounting department and all of the above. And it was this interesting journey. I remember getting my first order for about $46,000, and I had no money in the bank. And I'd go to the bank and say, "Hey, lend me some money," and they would say no. So I had to really struggle with that first order. But from that point till now, we have grown. We have gotten bigger. We have quite a few employees now. We have federal contract in place. We have a decent website that we get a lot of action from. So it's been a good journey, a rough one, tumultuous one, but it's been a journey, all right.
So, as you think about the growth you've experienced ever since that very first $46,000 sale, what do you attribute that growth to, Zahid?
I think being persistent is one of the things I would attribute to. A lot of times I often say that quitting is the easiest thing people can do.
Yes.
And, it's a lot of people, it amazes me how easily and quickly they quit. I've gone through recessions, I've gone through all kinds of ups and downs in business environment, and I've just persevered. I just, chugged along and kept doing what I'm doing, and revisited some of the things that gave me success in the past and said, hey, let me just rehash that and do it a little bit better and keep at it. I think not giving up is an attitude in business that is critical. People have to have that, and not think that, oh, it's in America, we have sort of a weird culture where we just quit at everything that we can't succeed at. And I think success comes with a lot of patience and hard work and perseverance.
You mentioned that patience, hard work, perseverance. Yeah, I think this claim is Thomas Edison, who said the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary.
I agree. Yes.
Very true. I grew up in a family business, sixth generation entrepreneur. So I just saw how it was. I mean, there's things that came up that were highly unexpected.
Yes.
Business burning down back in 1970, 71, things like that. Those are highly unexpected. And you got to adjust, you got to push through, persevere.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So as you reflect upon the growth and there's got to be uniqueness that allowed that growth and sustained growth over a couple of decades. What makes your business unique, and why do customers choose your services over others?
So I think one of the things we do well is find hard to source items. A lot of legacy products that have been discontinued for a while. If customers are looking for those, I think that would be our niche in the marketplace, where we have sources, we have places where we can go and find product which customer finds it hard to purchase. In the world of internet, you can, within 2 clicks, you can pretty much find anything you want. When I'm talking about hard to find, they're really hard to find. I mean, if customers are not able to find it, then they come to us and they say, hey, Zahid, I'm looking for this, or hey, Aztec Computers, we're looking for this particular part. So I've sourced items from all over the world. I mean, we would go to literally to India, to China, to Taiwan, wherever we can find these products and take care of the customer. So I think that's number one. And then number two, I think we've been very sort of lucky in terms of having the patronage we have had. I mean, our customers are loyal to us. They keep coming back to us. They like what we do for them. We like what they do for us. We're upfront and honest. I mean, a lot of times, things just don't work out in business environment. You take in a PO and then you find out you run into glitches and hiccups, and you have to just be honest and lay your cards on the table and say, hey, look, this is the way it is. Sorry, but let's work it out. Let's do something. I remember we had an order from Veterans Affairs, and we messed up on the quote. We quoted them a part number they were asking if they were going by the description. We went back and forth a few times. I talked to them. I said, look, I'm not trying to pull any strings or, do a fast one over you, or it's just simple. We made a mistake. Here's a mistake. We can work something out. And, lo and behold, they did work with us and we were able to fulfill that contract. I don't know if any of your viewers do federal contracts, but once you screw up on a federal contract, you're pretty much done. So I was glad that we were able to work it out and not take the loss. They were considered enough to work with us. So things like that have happened in the past, where we just, talk to the customer, be upfront and honest, let them know what it is. So I think I would attribute our success to those two things, going above and beyond for the customer and letting them know and being honest with them.
So go above and beyond for the customer and be open and honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an old saying that there's no traffic jams on the highway the extra mile because very few people travel it.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
So great principles for others to instill in their culture and those that they hire.
And this is a very fluid sort of idea, and we keep adding and subtracting things to it. So those are just a couple of them that just popped up in my mind now. But being fluid with the whole business model, I can't imagine how many companies in the last 20 years I've seen come and go. And there was Inca Computers in California when I was there. They opened up a bunch of branches, and we're gonna take the whole computer industry by storm. And 6 months later they were gone. So I think being nimble, being fluid with your ideas, doing things that work for your business, and being flexible enough. And since we're not very large, we're able to do those maneuvers much faster than most of the bigger companies can.
Yeah, if you're a big ocean liner, it's hard to turn fast.
Yeah, I mean, I often say I don't know how long elephant takes to itch his butt when he has an itch in his butt.
That's fun. That's good.
When you make it so big, it's just really hard to do anything pretty much.
So if you had to start your business from square one, start over again, what would you do differently, Zahid?
I think I would probably do some groundwork before I start. I think the way I started my business was just on a whim, and I still think that a lot of business gets started that way. But if I would have, the struggles I went through in the beginning of the business would have been less if I had planned it a little bit better and kind of, figured things out. So preparing for it before jumping into it would have been something that I would probably change if I could. Second, I think, being honest with your employees and being upfront is a good idea, but I would also go on the side of caution there and not really opening up pretty much all your business model to your employees. I've had several episodes in the last 20 years where employees have sort of taken and started their own company, taken my business away from me, and at least tried to, and I'm sure some of them have been succeeded at that too. When you're too trustworthy and you just show everything that you have in business, I think it becomes a little burdensome, and there's a risk involved there that needs to be mitigated, and be careful with that. So I still like to trust people, but I'm way more cautious than I used to be 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I have securities in place. I don't show everything to everyone. It's need to know basis sort of. And that was a lesson hard learned after a few hiccups and bumps along the journey.
Well said. Great point. We had a bakery client. I know you're probably asking why bakery. Bakery client where the owner was in every morning at like 2:30 in the morning because a family recipe had some special pieces to it. and they had no idea how to be able to allow employees to be able to do the dough without giving away the family secret. We worked with them and figured out a way. So the key pieces the family never, or the employees never got to know. It stayed with the family. There's ways to do it, like you talked about.
Yeah.
Um, so you've got employees. What have been your biggest learnings as an employer since you began your business?
You know, this is an industry where I learn something new every day. I mean, technology is a place and space where it's growing by leaps and bounds. You know, just last year we talked about AI, how it's coming out and is going to just replace all of our jobs. And you know, so it's been you know, if I stop learning, I think I'm out of business pretty quickly. So learning is something that happens pretty much every day. I have to learn new technology, new ways of doing business, new ways of marketing, new ways of dealing with customers, you know, instituting AI, you know, writing our emails and codes with AI now. So there's I would not say it's the one thing that I've learned. I'm just constantly learning. And if I cease to do that, my life cycle in business would be very, very short, especially in technology.
So be an avid continual learner and hire those
Mhm.
probably who have the same character qualities.
Yes, absolutely.
So another thing that I've seen over the years is hiring those who are naturally curious. It's just part of their DNA. They're naturally curious human beings.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you, I'm very, very curious. I mean, I do not, you know, if you show me a drywall, I would know, well, what's behind the wall is what I want to know. How is this wall made? You know, so I'm curious by nature, and I think that has helped me well. I've, over the course of years, learned how to do programming, even though my college major was marketing. So, you know, I've learned coding. I've learned a lot of things along the journey. And that just makes me it makes me happy to get up in the morning and do what I do, which is a good thing. Even though sometimes I'm not financially doing so well or making so much money, but I say, you know what, I'm going to get up and do something different with my website or with my business or with my invoicing or with my accounting or whatever it is. And I think that really helps.
It does help to understand the various parts of your business. You may not be the best at it,
Yeah.
and you understand enough though to get in and ask the right questions.
Yes. Yes. And
Because
get the things done. Yeah, absolutely.
then you can delegate versus abdicate. Abdicate is choosing to be lazy and not learn anything about it, and you have no idea what's true or not.
Hmm.
So further on the employees, what qualities do you look for in employees? We covered it a bit. Anything else you want to share around the character qualities of the employees you choose to hire?
So I think, again, I try to find people like me whenever I'm looking for employees. I want to know if they're curious. I want to know that they're happy in their lives. They're going to do well. You know, they don't have a frown. You know, one of the things I think if they're not curious and wanting to learn new things, this is not the place for them because this is just constantly evolving. Things are constantly changing. There are so many nuances that we have to go through and if they're not willing to um, stick with it and work with the kind of attitude I have towards my business, then I just don't see a fit there. So whenever I'm looking for people, I'm trying to sort of have them replicate the ideas I have in my mind, two things I really dislike about you know, employees is one, when I explain something to you, get it. If you say you get it, you have to get it. And second, if you make a mistake once, you cannot make the same mistake again. So you know, that's my no-no. So if I allow everybody to make the first mistake of any kind, but if they do the same thing again, and that means that they're either not paying attention or they're not with it. Which so those are some of the things I'm always looking out for younger people or people I hire to be able to do.
Those are great ground rules.
Mhm.
Are those written down in your business at all? Those kind of rules of the game?
Yes, so we do have a employee manual that we put all of that in, and we kind of give them the vision of our company and tell them what we are expecting. And so yes, we do a pretty rigorous process of going through it.
Excellent. Okay. And on the personal side, how do you balance your personal life with being this scaling entrepreneur? Your wife gave you the green light 20 plus years ago. Go for it. How do you find balance in that?
This is my personal life. I mean, there's no balance, it's just I love what I do, and it really I mean I could be up in the middle of the night and doing work, and it doesn't bother me. It's just this is work. And even when I'm watching TV, I have my laptop with me and I'm constantly doing something. There was just so much to do, which is the beauty of this business. And I think if you're passionate about something, you just, and my wife doesn't mind anymore. And she literally tells me that your business is your first wife and I'm your second, so be it. But I do spend a lot of time with we do play pickleball together, we go work out together, so we hang out, we do things. I'm not crazily sort of maniac about the business, but I do personal things. I love to play chess. I play some basketball with friends, and so it's been we go out dinners, all kinds of stuff. So normal people, whatever they do, but I still continue to work whenever I get an opportunity.
You hit the nail on the head of the fact that the two of you choose to have interactive type time together.
Mhm.
We've seen that around the world. We're in 84 countries. There's the couples who do interactive pieces together, that bonding is strong and the time they invest together is meaningful. It's like an acceleration of what it does versus just sitting there in the same room watching a movie and not interacting.
Yeah.
They both.
I completely agree with you. I think one of the things we all need to try to do is spend more time with our spouses rather than just doing what we do and doing what they do. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, the interacting is important. Last question is this. What are some of the common misconceptions about running a business? What have you heard people say? And it's like, oh, that's not true. So what are common misconceptions?
I think people think, over the course of 20 years, a lot of people have asked me, like, how do you start your business? And I often say, if you have a gut for it, go for it. You've got to be able to have a stomach for a business to work. And other than that, I think everything sort of, falls in place, if I may. Making up your mind and diving into it is probably one of the most important things that anybody could do to start a business. The biggest misconception people have is somehow it's just easy. The money comes easy for business people. They drive big cars and they live in a big house, and that's really not true. I think a business owner like myself probably works harder than anybody around, because you have to. I mean, if the toilet lady doesn't come clean the toilet, guess who has to do it? I have to do it, and then I don't mind it. I don't think any work is small. You just got to do what you got to do. So this notion that people have about entrepreneurs that somehow they just make it and it's just so easy for them, or if I could just do it, I think that's a misconception that I would like to point out. I think the third thing also is that um, businesses are like, raising a baby. It really is. I mean, it's just it takes a lot of nurturing, caring. You can't have an attitude of oh, well, it's just going to grow. You got to keep at it and be compassionate and kind to the business. I think that's something that a lot of people overlook when they're doing business. I often say that every piece of bread I eat comes from Aztec, and I need to be mindful of that and know that this is what's feeding me and my family. So you got to be kind towards the business, and don't think of it as um, a. I would almost say that you need to think of it really as a baby. You got to take care of it, and not think of it as just something nebulous out there, just making you money.
It's got its own identity. It's its own being. And yeah, it got treated as such. So very well said. It's not transactional.
No, it isn't, and you can't take it like that. I think that's a misconception again. A lot of people have that if I work 40 hours, I got to get this much money from it, and that's not how it works.
The old saying is the owners eat last. So, any last comments before we wrap this up?
Well, no, I just thank you so much for giving this opportunity to me to speak about my business, and you know, I hope and pray that your business is well for you as well, and that's all.
Thank you, Zahid. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for pouring into the business community. Greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.